Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Campo. Welcome back to my channel. I've got war number 3 of the season for you today. This was a fun one. I got to bring one of my favorite teams, which was essentially Ghost and Falcon, taking some pretty familiar nodes if you've seen my war videos before, but they actually went a little different than expected today. And you also get to see me ghost my first Domino since I've started posting war videos. Before we get into this war, I do want to just make a quick plug that at the end of this video, we have the first of what I hope to be many of the new featured 6-star crystals. I'm only opening one at this point because that's all the shards I had, but I am looking forward to getting some shards from 7.3 in Alliance War season later in the month and opening a larger batch of these featured 6-star crystals, trying to get Human Torch, trying to get Hercules or some of the other new champions or juicy ones that are in that crystal. And yeah, so if you want to stick around toward the end or just skip ahead, you can see who I got from that first one. So let's talk about this Alliance War. As I said, I've got Ghost and Falcon. I'm starting off on Hazard Shift. And we saw this Masacre here, and you know, this was an old trick. It was something that people used to place here, and it would trip people up because in Masacre's kit, he has the ability that when he fails to apply an incinerate, then it does direct red damage toward you. Now, this will also apply if the node is trying to apply an incinerate. So when you have something like Hazard Shift, if I brought in a fully immune to incinerate and it didn't apply, then this would lead to some pretty nasty direct damage back toward me. So you can counter this by bringing a poison immune, but I wouldn't really recommend that because it means you have to idle during the first phase of Hazard Shift. Or in this case, you can bring a champ like Ghost or certainly Rolk, who's a perennial favorite on this path, because they technically purify the incinerates and it doesn't count as not applying. And when we saw that Domino at the beginning, we really didn't want to send Rolk against her, so the game plan was to use Ghost. And I'm just going to start this clip right about now, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my strategy with Ghost against Domino. She can certainly work. You just have to be aware that your phase can fail. So at the very beginning of the fight, your phase will always work because her probability field has not started yet until the fight begins. So you can definitely count on that one. But anytime you dash back, you have to be very cognizant of whether or not your phase started. Additionally, if you bring Wasp, I would recommend never doing a dash back unblockable special 2. Always try to do safe special 2s as if Wasp isn't there, because if it fails, you hit her block and you're in trouble. So as you can see here, she dashed back at the beginning, so I didn't gain as much power as I wanted. Get off a parry, dash back, critical fail. The second one works. Here's my first mistake, dash back. I did not catch it in time that phase stopped. Fortunately, I had the invulnerable, but I still had to take a 17k crit to the face. I was not very boosted for this fight, so that was a problem. She has the Fury from Schadenfreude. I did exactly what I said not to do there, but it was a gamble play on my part. I was sensing that I was going to die in this fight, and I kind of threw a Hail Mary, and fortunately Wasp synergy did work for me. I did get that phase, and I was able to salvage it. I missed a parry there. In fact, I got the parry, but she stopped it with her ability accuracy. So yeah, kabam, 15% Domino there for the ability reduction. It felt a little bit more than 15% in that last fight, but I do have to admit it was my mistake not catching that phase in time and putting myself in that position. But hey, we got the win. There's nothing that a few potions can't fix. And we're going to be able to bring Ghost straight into this next fight. You know, I should have maybe boosted a little bit more, but I do also want to kind of save my my tech boosts a little bit because those are very precious. They don't always come around. And, you know, I do want to have them for the end of the Alliance War season. So I was hoping that the damage from Hazard Shift would just be enough. But of course, as I've been doing all season, I kind of made that last one a little interesting, even though I didn't die. So now we have a much more conventional Ghost fight. As I said, I'm not really boosted, but I'm just sort of hitting and phasing back, baiting his special 1s. I don't really want to deal with his special 2. He's being a little bit dancy right there, not going into my stuff there, so I got the parry off. We get one special 2 off, not doing that much damage because I didn't have any passive furies on me, so that was my own mistake. Need to bait another special 1. Here it comes. I should be able to finish him off with just basic hits, and he goes down. So as you can see, none of that strange interaction that I was talking about appeared in that fight. Ghost worked great. The fact that I saved Domino and eliminated the one Domino on the map that early was a big relief, because Domino can always catch people off guard on a variety of nodes, and that's just is what it is. So quick plug, that was a rank 4 Doom. If you want to see how he went down, go check out DLL's channel, which I'm going to link in the description, because he faced his first rank 4 Doom today and got him down with, you probably can guess who. Anyway, we're going up against Path 5B now. I've taken this node before with Falcon, and the last time I fought it, I did not play well. I've got these tech boosts on for Ghost for the next fight, throwing an invulnerability on just in case. The game plan here is to get locked on, locked in, and then to try to perform an intercept. And let's see if I can do that. So we've got locked on, 1, 2, 3, 4, back light, and we get the intercept. Now, if you notice, the protection is gone from the intercept, and I didn't get a passive fury that you would expect to get from the ebb and flow intercept node. And that's because I'm reducing his ability accuracy by 100%, which means I'm also turning off the node ebb and flow intercept. So basically the protection is off for the rest of the fight as long as I don't accidentally intercept him again later. And because of that, I'm doing full damage against Thing the whole time. As you can see, my Falcon is about SIG 20. He's actually SIG 21 because I grinded for him and then got him again. So essentially my crit rate is very, very high, even at that low SIG. And you could see when I was locked on, I was doing a ton of damage. I was never triggering protection, and Thing goes down in 1 minute, which is fantastic on a node that has protection on top of it. So I would highly recommend Falcon for that fight in the future for anyone else. You've seen me kind of botch that fight before, and that time it went just about as good as it could go because I got the protection off right away. And yeah, feeling very good about Section 2 so far after almost dying in Section 1. So they put Green Goblin here, and I'm sure it's because he has regeneration off of the basic hits that you do. But once again, DLL, who is an encyclopedia of knowledge, reminded me that special attacks don't interact with the regen. So, you know, as you can see here, he's regenning a lot of what I'm doing, but in general, the fact that I throw this big special 2 is going to mean that none of that is subject to the regen. The other thing going on in this fight is because of the whatever the green one is, I think that's Cunning, and the other one is Madness. The green one is reducing all of my power gain. Right there, I just kind of forgot about Mighty Charge and that I couldn't parry him, so that was my bad, wasting the indestructible boost. But anyway, you'll notice that like the power back boost and the phasing, the power that I have from this like one SIG 180 Ghost and all that isn't as much as you would expect, and that's because he has the Cunning up. And additionally, when he has enough Madness, it's going to give him the regen, but only off of the basic hits. So this is taking a little bit longer than a normal Ghost fight would be, but she's still really good here because she gets those free intercepts, and then with Wasp, we're able to do full damage there. And no problem at all. So, you know, they probably just put him there for diversity. But I could see a situation where, you know, you were trying to use a champ with heal reversal, wouldn't work because of the Mighty Charge and whatnot. So, you know, you could potentially run into a little bit of trouble there. But Ghost was definitely the answer. And finally, this is a fight I've taken several times. And this is MODOK on Hazard Shift. My game plan is just to get locked on going and to try to make sure I don't get cornered, because one of the issues with Falcon is that you know that you're not going to get him down in one cycle, and you do have to worry about your placement on the field. So once again, we're seeing his duped ability at play here. He's only SIG 21 and the crit rate is very, very high. And additionally, I get those 2 extra seconds from locked on. So his dupe, I think, is very, very important, even at low SIG. You might have noticed a couple times that I was getting debuffs on me, and that's because he has this ability called Flux. which is essentially allowing him to go above 100% ability accuracy at times, as much as 115. You may have even noticed about 5 seconds ago, I actually got auto-blocked. So that's another thing you need to worry about. I think all in all, there were maybe 3 or 4 procs of abilities that triggered because he was above 100%. Right there, I think that was just either the dex bug or I dexed a little bit too slow, but I did have the indestructible boost on. Once again, a very valuable boost against these longer fights. As you can see, when he throws the heavy, you only need to dash back 1 time in terms of the spacing. That'll just kind of help you not get backed up. I throw the special 1, hoping that he'll just kind of bleed out, bait 1 more special 1, and that 9k crit will get him down. So that was actually one of the smoother fights I had with him, even though I took a couple hits. I just felt like I was in control the entire time, and those were my 5 fights. So we're going to transition now to a crystal opening, and I already got this first crystal. Looking at the pool, I really do like Penny Parker and Spider-Man 2099, but really I'm looking for Hercules. I'm looking for Human Torch. Those are the ones that would be account changing for me. But any of the new champs, I don't really have any of them. You know, Penny and Purgatory and Overseer and America Chavez as well as some of the older champs like Spider-Man Stark Enhanced and Medusa don't have them. So any new champ would be nice. I just really don't want to get Blue Cyclops or Guillotine or kind of Gamora either, or Daredevil. Those ones are not good. So this was previously recorded. I tapped it out there. There's a Torch. There's a Venom Pool. There's a Starkey. There's a Chavez. And I ended up getting Overseer. So yeah, I was actually pretty happy about that because he's not a bad champ. I just think that his utility set is not the most useful in the current meta of the game, especially when Mr. Negative and Spidey 2099 have come out, who are meta countering science champions and potentially anti-venom as well. So anyway, that's the end of this video. We ended up barely losing this war. It was super close, like a 4-6 loss. And, you know, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. I mean, we're going up against alliances who are pros at this. We're sort of in the top 15 or 20 in terms of alliance rating right now. And that's just how it happens sometimes. They, you know, really brought it. They really beat us straight up. It's unusual for us to get, you know, as low as like 3, 4, or 5 deaths and all. 6 is a decent performance for us, but we were just outplayed. And because of that, we're starting week 2 still in tier 1, which is great. We were able to get 3 tier 1 wars. One of them was a victory. And if we kind of keep that pace up, like we really want to try to win 2 next week so that we can really keep the pace up. And in doing that, there is still always the shot at Masters as long as we stay in tier 1 for as long as possible. So yeah, I'm really proud of the team so far. Some of the new additions to our battle group are doing great. We're really happy about those guys, and as in general, the Alliance is sort of getting the rust off and we're getting into this season. So enjoy the day off from Alliance War, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.